This week on Life in the Park, a young lad is honored by the police chief, Step turns 40, and yet another road closure in the park, plus more news you can use.
Welcome to this week's edition of Life in the Park. I'm Scott Smith. In our cover story, St. Louis Park's emergency program STEP is celebrating its 40th anniversary. And I sat down with STEP's new executive director, Derek Burrows-Riza. That's coming up. But first, here's news you can use. The general election is less than a month away now, and absentee voting is available at City Hall. More election and voting information is available at stlouispark.org/elections.html. The St. Louis Park League of Women Voters candidate forums for mayor, city council, and school board are currently televised on Park TV Civic Channel 17 and on demand at parktv.org. Hey, good news for Park TV fans with mobile devices like smartphones or tablets. Now you can watch the live stream for any of the Park TV channels on either Android or Apple devices. Just go to parktv.org and select the channel you want to watch. This comes in handy since Park TV covers dozens of live events every year, like council and school board meetings, hockey, football, and soccer games, concerts from Wolf Park, candidate forums, and of course, Park High School and Benilde graduation. Thanks to the city webmaster David Engelhardt and our partners at Logis for the behind-the-scenes magic. The St. Louis Park City Council is considering regulation of food and beverage packaging in the city, which would affect polystyrene and other packaging products. The draft ordinance requires that licensed food establishments use reusable, recyclable, or compostable packaging for food and beverages that are prepared and served on-site or taken to go. Council hosted a zero-waste listening session at City Hall October 12th.
We're considering this zero-waste packaging ordinance for a couple of reasons: to help increase traditional and organics recycling, and to help reduce waste and environmental impacts from disposable food and beverage packaging.
Suggest that you consider recycling as opposed to a ban also.
I wanted to talk briefly on the ordinance as well, and I know one of the goals when I read the ordinance is to increase recycling, and that was stated again this evening. And I would again encourage that to actually be the case and not limit it to the 3 plastics that you have noted for recycling. I would encourage it to be foam recycling included, as well as look at alternative methods for the other recycling, waste to energy for other materials.
I have to say, on banning polystyrene in St. Louis Park, this is a no-brainer to me. Polystyrene is a known carcinogen, irrefutable in animals, and I think anytime you see irrefutable evidence of carcinogenic effects on animals, you know that they're also affecting our human bodies as well, as we are animals.
Ice cream, there is nothing else that is going to allow us to deliver ice cream to customers.
The next step is for the council to discuss these comments and a myriad of other information that we've had presented to us over the course of time in this issue in a study session in the upcoming weeks. Once we do that, if the council decides to move this policy forward, a final draft ordinance will be prepared, and at that time, businesses and residents as well will have another opportunity to provide comment on that final draft during a final public hearing.
Council gathered input from varying opinions on the draft ordinance and will continue discussions. Life in the Park will keep you up to date on further council action. A new study on the health and impact of the nonprofit arts and culture sector in St. Louis Park will be released at 7 p.m. Thursday, October 29th at the Rec Center Banquet Room, 3700 Monterey Drive, by the City of St. Louis Park, St. Louis Park Friends of the Arts, and Minnesota Citizens for the Arts. A presentation of the results will be followed by a discussion of the economic impact of the arts and culture in St. Louis Park. The arts and culture are important to the St. Louis Park community, enhancing quality of life, bringing diverse communities together, and making the area a magnet for jobs and businesses. This new study by St. Louis Park Friends of the Arts and Minnesota Citizens for the Arts includes 15 local organizations that are part of the study and show that in addition to contributing to the city's excellent quality of life, the nonprofit arts and culture sector is also a substantial industry, contributing at least $1.5 million to the local economy each year. October 8th was a pretty big day for young Marshal Schmidt. He received a commendation from St. Louis Park Police Chief John Luce, and his whole family posed for pictures with St. Louis Park police officers.
Marshal, while watching the project go on, took notice of and became aware of the fact that Mr. Carlson was being attacked and that his dog was being attacked. Marshall, thinking quickly, went and found Derek. And that was pretty cool, Marshall, because you knew Derek would be there, didn't you? You knew Derek would come and help. And that was pretty cool. You knew Derek was a brave guy and a strong guy, and if you got to him, Mr. Carlson was going to get help, and that was the idea. So Marshall got to Derek. Derek got to Mr. Carlson, followed by several of our police officers, including Terry Rivas, who was here today. By that time, the dog who was running loose and was vicious had killed Mr. Carlson's dog and was inflicting some really serious injuries on Mr. Carlson. So Derek had his hands full. Officer Rivas had his hands full. That dog was a handful. We're here today to recognize and pay tribute to these people while acknowledging the fact that Mr. Carlson was seriously injured. Your dedication to act in defense of a citizen prevented further injury to the man and showed your commitment to community and the people of St. Louis Park. So, Terry, on behalf of our police department, it's my honor to thank and commend you for a job well done. Your quick thinking and dedication to act in defense of a fellow citizen prevented further injury to the man and showed your commitment to the community and people of St. Louis Park. So, Derek, it's a great privilege on my behalf to thank you on behalf of the people of St. Louis Park for a job well done. Because of what you did, Mr. Johnson and responding police officers were able to get the dog off the man, keep it at bay, control the dog, and secure it in a squad car. Marshal, your quick thinking and dedication to act to help a fellow citizen prevented further injury to the man and showed your commitment to the community and people of St. Louis Park. So, Marshal, on behalf of our department and our community, it's my privilege and pleasure to thank and commend you for a job well done.
Later that day, Marshall was selected to cut the ribbon opening the new Minnetonka Boulevard Bridge.
1, 2, 3, go!
5 more buildings are proposed for construction at the west end at I-394 and Highway 100. Plans include 2 6-story multiple-family residential buildings, a 6-story limited-service hotel, 2 11-story office buildings, a parking ramp, and a central gathering space. As you may be aware, Utica Avenue will be reconstructed as part of the Central Park West redevelopment. Utica Avenue will be reconstructed as a 4-lane roadway with landscaped boulevards and sidewalks, a tree-lined median, and utility improvements. The road will be closed to through traffic for the duration of this construction from Gamble Drive to Wayzata Boulevard. Please follow detour signs. You're invited to Fall in Step at STEP's anniversary celebration. Join in to reflect on the last 40 years and look forward to the future. The event will be held at STEP, 6812 West Lake Street, on Thursday, October 22nd from 5 to 7 p.m. with a brief program at 6:15. You can enjoy hot cider and cookies, staff-led tours of STEP, live music, meet the new executive director, celebrate with old and new friends, plus reflections by Jackie Olafson, the retired executive director. RSVP are not required but requested at info@stepslp, or you may call 952-925-4899. And that leads us into our cover story. The St. Louis Park Emergency Program Executive Director Derek Burrows-Riza is very busy acclimating himself to his new position at STEP and planning the big upcoming celebration, but was kind enough to take a few minutes with me to talk about the importance of STEP in our community.
Yeah, so the primary purpose of STEP is to provide food and to eliminate hunger in St. Louis Park, and we serve St. Louis Park residents. There are other community food shelves in surrounding areas that serve those areas, and they divide it up geographically in order to make sure that everyone in the area is served. And our service area is St. Louis Park. So I have a background in nonprofit organizations for 15 years. I've been primarily fundraising. I'm a development person for nonprofits. I I've worked for arts organizations and social service organizations, but not a food shelf. So this is my first experience in a community food shelf. I am a St. Louis Park resident. So I've been living in St. Louis Park for the last 3 years, and my kids go to school in St. Louis Park, and so I knew about STEP beforehand and really valued the role that STEP played. So when this opportunity arose, I really jumped at it because I think it's a really exciting place in the community. So one of the unique things about STEP is that anytime that someone comes through our door, they meet with a social worker. Because if someone is having trouble making their, if someone is struggling with food stability, then there are other contributing factors in their lives, and we have social workers who meet with them, who are able to check with them, offer a friendly face, and also connect them to other services and support that they need. Besides food support, we also have a clothes closet where clients can come in and obtain clothing for free. They get a certain allotment per month based on eligibility. And we also support them with emergency funds for rental to keep people in their housing. So if someone is in a place where they are unable to make their next month rent, we can give a bridge support for temporary support so that they can stay in their housing and they don't become homeless. We also have a transportation program where we have volunteers drive people who have mobility issues and transportation issues to come to STEP for our services, to go to medical appointments and other necessary social service appointments. There are lots of great ways for volunteers to get involved with the work of STEP. We have lots of different types of opportunities, both the regular opportunities during the day, volunteer drivers, one-time sorting help. We have a lot of workplaces that will do employee bonding activity where they will come and help us out for a couple of hours. The best way to find out and connect with us about those is to go to our website, stepslp.org. You can also call our phone number at 952-925-3899, and we'll connect with you.
STEP is distributing winter coats and cold weather accessories to St. Louis Park families the month of October. Those interested just need to come to STEP with a utility bill Monday, Wednesday, or Thursdays between 9 and 11 a.m. or 1 and 3 p.m., Tuesdays 1 to 3 p.m. or again 5 to 7:30 p.m., and Fridays 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And they're still looking for donations of used warm coats, hats, mittens, gloves, boots, and snow pants for adults and children. Remember, you can keep up to date in the park by visiting our Facebook page at facebook.com/St. Louis Park, or check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/St. Louis Park. So that's it for this week's edition of Life in the Park. Thanks for watching. Join us next week for another edition of Life in the Park right here on Park TV.
Hi, I'm Lisa Abernathy with your Rec Minute. Halloween Spirit has begun inside the Rec Center, getting ready for the Little Goblin Bash for ages 2 to 9 on Friday, October 23rd from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. The Rec Center will become Halloween Central with fun music, games, and yummy Halloween treats provided by Lund's Byerly's. Registered participants also get to pick out a pumpkin to take home from our Aquatic Park Pumpkin Patch. Cost is $2 per child. Registration is limited and required, so sign up today at stlouispark.org.